Well, it's trade time, y'all. Let's jump on into it.
Changing here. McDavid, beautiful move. Front back the ball, over to Crosby. He scores! Crosby, 500!
Watch this play between the legs, comes right back to him.
But man, oh man, has his kid got some hands.
In the net, it looks like he's going for the old Michigan. He brings it up. Miller goes to knock it up. He shoots it in front.
Oh, it's a lot now.
Away, gains the zone around Kubalik. Back to Foligno, he scores!
A lot of mustard on it.
Ovechkin score! The Grade 8 Express pulls into third place all time.
This is the Pucked Up Podcast.
Welcome back, Mother Puckers, to the Pucked Up Podcast. I am your host, D-Bag. I am joined by the always beautiful Danger Water. And then there's Chris, who's also beautiful in his own way.
Me.
It me.
It me.
No,
I'm
just
the
kidding.
problem.
Chris is also beautiful.
It's the beard, right?
If you get
It's
past,
the beard.
past the shininess of the top of his head.
That's not shiny today. Like
It's not. I was going to say,
It's
actually,
not
you have a
too
little bit of hair
I-
growth
I
there.
didn't-
Yeah, you need to shave it.
strong,
I
right?
shaved my
I
head
see a
yesterday.
lot
I
of-
do it every other day, so this way my
That's
scalp
really?
doesn't
Okay.
freak out.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fair. That checks
That's
out.
fair. That checks.
Well, welcome back,
Say
y'all.
two women that have never shaved their head. Well, I've never shaved my head, I guess.
I've
Yeah.
never shaved my head. I've shaved other parts.
It's same concept.
So, same concept.
Same concept.
Anyway,
yes, this is
gotta
in
move on
fact
from
a
that.
podcast about hockey, even though it may not seem like it at this
No.
exact moment, but we'll get
We're
there.
real
I promise.
people.
Yeah,
We're
ex-
real people. And
Exactly.
you get to witness the realness.
The realness.
The
Always.
realness.
It's been super real.
Dude,
Right?
it's been super fucking real in the NHL lately. I've been in my emotions. We have hit the trade deadline this Friday, and boy howdy have people been fucking trading.
Bro.
Like, dude, it is
There's-
insane.
so
And we're not even done, y'all. Like, we haven't even hit
No.
major, like, we've hit major trades, but we haven't hit major
we're
trades.
not on deadline
Like,
day. And as of time of
no.
recording, like it's insane. I honestly did
It
not
is.
expect this many pieces to move this early before the deadline.
Yeah.
I expected
Right.
like Thursday. Maybe
Mhm.
Yeah.
maybe is when you're gonna really see them, but not fucking
Yeah, but
like,
today there have been
Tuesday.
Literally,
Yeah.
there was like a week ago, we had like 10 trades all on the same day. Like, it was like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Boom. It was so we're gonna get into that. We're gonna start off with some trade news. And we kind of all have trade stuff to talk about. So I don't know if anyone in
My-
particular feels like they
my
want to go
team
first or if we
didn't
want to
do
go by
shit
in
that was
order.
important. So
You had some trades though.
we had two, but
Yeah.
none of them were important in any way.
Well,
Yeah,
mine were.
I think
Mine hurt.
Yours were, yeah.
the last
And
Emotionally.
our like one of ours goes together, D. So
A couple of them do.
obviously the
Oh,
last
that's
one we
true.
talked
We
about
referenced
last
in the
week
other
was
one, too.
Tyler Mott, the Ryan
Mhm.
O'Reilly trade, the
Yep.
Vladimir Tarasenko. Those we did discuss those trades last week,
We
but
did.
the
But there's been more.
the 22nd is when things popped off.
Yeah.
yeah,
There
Starting
were,
with Shea Weber.
yeah, there
with
were
Shea
two
Weber,
trades.
yeah.
The Arizona Coyotes acquired defenseman Shea Weber and a 5th round pick in the 2023 draft from the Vegas Golden Knights in exchange for defenseman Dyson Mayo. I am not
Yep.
familiar with him. I know that Shea
No,
Weber's
not
been
either.
hurt. So
Yeah, he's had a lot.
obviously you're gonna
he'll
want
be out like the rest of the season.
yeah, you're gonna want to
Right.
like get a player that can actually be useful for you towards playoff push.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the
Blackhawks
Chicago,
started with their moves. Yeah.
yeah, they got Nikita Zaitsev, a 2nd round pick and a 4th round pick in the in 2023 and 2026 drafts from the Ottawa Senators in exchange for future considerations.
Which, like, what the fuck does that mean?
Probably prospects.
That's just so nebulous
Maybe.
to me. Like, they got a lot. Like, they
They
got a
did.
lot
Yeah, so whatever
for
Ottawa's,
nothing like concrete. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, so that's the
Yeah.
thing is, I guess we're gonna have to see what Chicago offers up because like
Yeah.
Well,
they've
and
got a lot of pieces now.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting.
I will.
And then, yeah, the Ducks got Josiah Slavin from the
From the
Blackhawks
Blackhawks. Yeah.
Yeah,
for Hunter Drew
yeah.
as
I'm not
well.
familiar with Hunter Drew. I'm pretty sure he plays in the minors. I
Yeah.
don't recall seeing him up at the in
Yeah,
the big club.
I
So
don't.
same.
And then on February 23rd, my heart broke just a little bit. So Boston Bruins acquired defenseman Dmitry Orlov and forward Garnet Hathaway from the Caps in a 3-team trade that also somehow included the Minnesota Wild.
Like the
The
monkey
Bruins
in the
got prospect Andrei Svetlikov from the Wild. Caps got Craig Smith and a first-round pick in the 2023 draft, and a third-round pick in the 2024 draft, and a second-round pick in the 2025 draft. The Wild get a fifth-round pick in the 2023 draft, and then there's some stuff about like the Wild are maintaining 25% of Craig Smith's salary or something. Hold on,
and
I have it
part of
written
Ryan
down.
O'Reilly's salary.
Yeah,
yeah,
which I'm just like, what
When
the
O'Reilly never
freak is
played, like it
happening?
makes no sense to me.
No,
I mean, like it does if you really break it down, but it's like why,
right?
Um,
It's
but
craziness.
it's definitely very interesting, and like as a Wild fan to have that be the first two trades that the Wild were really involved in where
Yeah,
we were the middleman. I mean, we really didn't get anything concrete or that we could see any change
right,
from right
right.
away,
yeah,
which was like fuck, like why are we just giving money away is what it felt like from a fan's
right.
perspective, um for nothing
Right.
And for
basically.
us, losing Dima, who he's been with
Yeah.
the Caps organization since he was drafted. He's been with us 10 or 11 years now. So losing him was really sad. He's been a core part of our defense. And I have big love for Garney, honestly. He's a polarizing player, I think, for some people. But
Yeah.
honestly, Garnet Hathaway has been a huge help for our team. And I really appreciate the work he's done charity wise. He has a charity called Hath's Heroes that works with first responders, firemen in particular. And
That's
so he's,
awesome.
yeah, I really appreciate what he was doing in our community while he was here. So watching them play their first game in Boston, like just tore my heart apart just a
Mm.
little bit. I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
But I did love that the first time either of them got a goal and an assist, it was with each other.
That's
So
cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
yeah,
That is
keeping it
pretty
going.
cool.
I
Right.
loved it.
Yeah.
Um
But then we had like a day off, no trade news until the
yeah.
25th when
25th.
Colorado announced that they were getting Keith Kincaid from the Boston Bruins in exchange for Shane Bowers.
So my
Yeah.
question here is what's their feelings on Georgiev because they just went out and
Yeah.
got a goalie from Boston.
I know.
And I mean,
I don't think it's looking good.
yeah, and you don't want to blame the goaltender for everything, but like, you
No,
know,
but I mean, believe me, as someone who's had shit
Bye, everybody.
goaltenders in Washington for a bit, yeah, they get some of it because they deserve it, you know.
yeah,
Right.
that's fair.
Oh yeah. I mean, there are definitely times where it's like, no, you deserve the shit that you're getting, but
Yeah.
there are other times where it's like, I mean, especially this year with Fleury, everybody's loving to blame Fleury for everything, and it's like,
Yeah.
Fleury, he can't stop every goal,
Yeah,
know.
if
And
the
and
defense
yeah,
did their
could he be
job.
better? Absolutely, but he also needs defense.
Yeah, well,
to
if the
work with
defense
him.
does their job, the goaltender doesn't have to work as hard. And I mean, that's
Right. Right.
Heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
We also had Vancouver Canucks acquiring forward Vitaly Kravtsov.
Kravtsov, I think. I don't know.
I don't think it's a hard T, or I don't think you pronounce both.
Kravtsov.
Anyway, Vitaly from the New York Rangers in exchange for forward William Lockwood and a 7th round pick in the 2026 NHL draft.
Yeah, not really
Um,
understanding this one.
Yep.
Yeah.
That means next to nothing to me.
For a team that really needs their draft picks for the next few years, why the fuck are you trading them away?
Yep.
Right.
That one made no
Yeah, it's
sense
a very
to me.
interesting move that I fully don't understand personally.
Again, the Canucks are just out here doing wild ass shit. Just wildin'.
They
Yeah.
do be wild, and
And that same day, the Winnipeg Jets try to help themselves maintain that wild card spot when they
Yeah,
acquired
Nino.
forward Nino Niederreiter from the Nashville
Love
Predators
Nino.
in exchange for a second round pick in 2024. Yeah, I love Niederreiter. He's a great player.
Yes.
So
I missed him playing for the Wild.
that's gonna be interesting to see how he slots right in with Winnipeg.
Absolutely.
Because like they're on the cusp of a possible top 3 spot for the playoffs and not actually winning a wild card spot. So
Right.
adding Niederreiter could definitely help for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Then
And
February
then,
26th, to start off the few trades we had that day, the Dallas Stars acquired forward Evgeny Dodonov from the Montreal Canadiens in exchange for forward Denis Gurianov.
Yeah.
Dodonov's a great player, so
Yeah,
I'm
and
not
I've
as
heard good things about
familiar with him,
Gurianov
but-
too.
but we'll see because Dallas is, I mean, they're leading their division, so
Yeah,
Right.
clearly they're doing something right.
another big one that I didn't expect with the St. Louis Blues being involved. The
Yeah.
Vegas Golden
The
Knights
Blues are just
acquired
offloading.
forward Ivan Barbashev from the St. Louis Blues in exchange for forward Zach Dean. I think what they're doing is getting rid of contracts.
Yeah, a lot of teams are doing that.
Yeah.
Because we saw
A
the
lot.
2 biggest names on that team get moved last week.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
That's true.
And I mean, Vegas can always use, they've had some injuries this year, so they can always use, some more depth. And Barbashev's gonna offer that, and he's gonna offer you some productivity too. So
Right. Yeah, we then moved on to Colorado Avalanche, acquiring defenseman Jack Johnson from the Chicago. Wow, I just
the
stroked.
Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah.
The Colorado Avalanche acquired defenseman Jack Johnson from the Chicago Blackhawks in exchange for defenseman Andreas Englund. There we go.
It's
Read
funny
one.
that 2 former Penguins got traded for each other.
Yeah,
That is kind of funny, yeah.
Um,
And then
nothing
the
about that
Devils
is
just
really
went-
exciting.
Well, I mean, Jack
Yeah.
Johnson's a good defenseman. He's gonna, I think, help
Yeah.
Colorado in whatever the fuck they got going on over there.
I just mean it wasn't like earth shattering.
Oh yeah,
you know?
no.
Right.
Next one
Um,
is though.
Yeah, the next one is.
Yeah, the Devils acquired forwards Timo Meyer, Timur Abraganov. I fucking
Bragamov.
thanks for sharing your stroke with me, bestie.
Anytime.
I can't. My brain can't even wrap around.
There's a lot of
Ibrahimov.
wild names.
Yeah.
Timur
And then
Ibrahimov.
defenseman Scott Harrington, Santuri Takata,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and goalie Zachary Edmond for a 5th-round pick in the 2024 draft from the Sharks in exchange for forwards Fabian Zetterlund, Andreas Johnson, defenseman Shakir Mukhamadullin, and Nikita
Okotiuk.
what she said, and a conditional 1st-round pick in the 2023 draft, a conditional 2nd-round pick in the 2024 draft, and a 7th-round pick in the 2024 draft.
I love how
Honestly,
we gave.
this is so
That's a
imbalanced.
lot of movement, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
Yeah.
I also love that we gave Danger the hardest one out of all of them to read.
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
A little bit.
probably.
Thanks, guys. Not like I don't struggle bust my way through the injury report
Right.
every week.
Yeah, I mean,
It wasn't
listen,
intentional.
Yeah, for
I
real.
promise.
No, but those are also just names that I typically don't say out
Yeah.
loud, so that's
Well,
why
they're
it's
also not
like,
really popular names. Like they're not
Yeah.
names you hear
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
on the TV.
Like
anymore.
there are a couple
Right.
names on here that you should at least know.
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
like, I'm not
Timo
expecting-
Meyer.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean my brain. Yeah, Timo Meyer,
Timo
I know.
Meyer. Listen, and
Um,
that's a huge
yeah.
move for New Jersey
For
Yeah.
Timo.
to add Timo's abilities on offense to help
I saw
help
something
further
else
them.
about Timo though. I don't remember what it was. I think it was just that when he might play his first game though.
Oh,
Maybe it's in
yeah.
the
I think
injury
he's
report. I
hurt,
don't
isn't
remember.
he?
Yeah, I think he is. And we'll talk more on it later, but there are a lot of people that are, being moved around and stuff that are out
Yeah.
for the season.
Yeah.
Some of them even.
Right.
So it's very interesting to me that
Yeah.
they're making these movements that may not really benefit anybody now.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
especially like the Wild with one of our picks, he's potentially hurt for the rest of the season and he's an unrestricted free agent. So
Right.
Yeah.
we just took him, but he may not ever actually play for us. Like,
Yeah.
why?
It's
You
wild.
know, I mean,
Yeah.
and I get that it's all about cap space, but I tell you, I'm sick of hearing about cap space too.
Well, another piece that's super interesting is the Tampa Bay Lightning that same day acquired forward Tanner Ginott from the Nashville Predators in exchange for, you can get ready for this, defenseman
Yeah.
Cal
A
Foote,
shit ton.
a conditional first-round pick in 2025, a second-round
Yeah.
pick in 2024, a third, fourth, and fifth-round picks in the 2023 draft. That is a lot of
I-
fucking draft picks.
I
That is a
honestly
lot of it.
do not fucking understand this.
Yeah, like that's
Like,
a
I
lot
thought
of
New Jersey was
pieces.
unbalanced. This is so unbalanced.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay got one person from Nashville and gave up a person plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks.
Yeah.
That's
5 picks
crazy.
over 3 years.
And I don't think Tanner is like,
Yeah, from what I know of him, he's not like,
he's not worth Cal Foote and 5 other fucking picks.
yeah.
Yeah, that is a lot for him.
Over the next, and those are 5 picks over the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And
That's
he's
insane.
only got 14 points this season. You know,
Yeah.
so like, but he's got 85 penalty minutes.
What's crazy though is
Right.
that the Preds weren't even done. That same day,
No.
they got Isaac Ratcliffe from the Philadelphia Flyers in exchange for future considerations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, that
Another one
ambiguous
with, like,
future
nothing to say.
considerations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hate it.
Yeah, like, what does that mean? And then how do you make sure that they fulfill that end of that bargain?
Right. Well,
You know what I
that's-
mean? Like, it just,
That's the question of what is the future considerations, you
Yeah.
know, and
Right.
when will we find out? We probably won't for a while, you know, until you like
Right.
actually do some digging.
I'm nosy.
Right.
I want to know everything.
I know I do too.
Well,
And then on the 27th, Toronto Maple Leafs acquired Jake McCabe, forward Sam Lafferty, and a conditional 5th-round pick in the 2024 draft, conditional 5th-round pick in 2025 from the Blackhawks in exchange for forward Joey Anderson, forward Pavel
Gogolev.
Gogolev.
yeah, and a conditional 1st-round pick in 2025 and a 2nd-round pick in 2026.
I don't get, again, this is another,
I don't.
it's another
Yeah.
case of, if you're a rebuilding team like the Blackhawks, why are you trading your own picks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't
Especially
even,
a first round pick.
yeah,
Like, dude, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
like, I don't know. I mean, like, to get a,
You should be getting picks.
well, they did.
like,
They got
yeah.
a first rounder, but I mean, like I still like question. I mean, I guess
No,
if they're
I don't
fifth
know.
rounders,
True.
then I
true.
guess they're not like super worth it. But I mean, getting a first and second rounder in 2025 is nice.
Right.
I mean, but like Caps got first and second rounders much sooner than 2025 and 2026. You're waiting 2 and 3 years to build your team.
Yeah,
That's,
but I mean, Toronto
that's
doesn't really.
down the road.
Yeah, that's why like Toronto's obviously going to use whatever picks they have to their benefit, but yeah, they're not worried about a 2025 and 2026 early rounders because again, now Chicago has to wait to use those unless they decide to flip them.
Right.
Um,
Which is likely going to happen.
we can absolutely see that
TBH.
on Friday.
Yeah.
Speaking of the last thing that happened on the 27th was the Buffalo Sabres acquired defenseman Riley Stillman from the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for forward Josh Bloom. That's
Yeah.
a smart move, picking up some defense.
yeah.
That's one of Buffalo's weaker points right now is their defense and their goaltending. I think
Feel that.
we'll see them address that. I hope we see them address that. That I guess
Yeah.
is a better thing to
Right.
say. But yeah, I
And
mean,
then-
you know,
Yeah. We have today, which a lot has happened today.
Yeah.
We kicked it off with the Carolina Hurricanes acquiring forward Jesse Puljujarvi from the Edmonton Oilers in exchange for the rights to unassigned draft choice forward Patrick Pistola. That's interesting.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
That's
Carolina
fair.
Very
adding
interesting.
depth.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you
Yeah,
know,
just
I guess,
interesting.
you know, they're
Yeah.
gonna. And it's always good around this time to have players just in case someone else gets hurt. You know,
Yes.
core player.
Absolutely.
You know, you're not like scrambling from the minors.
Right.
Right.
The San Jose Sharks acquired the rights to unsigned draft choice defenseman Henry Thrun from the Anaheim Ducks in exchange for a 3rd-round pick in 2024. They just couldn't come to an
That
agreement.
makes sense to me though. Like,
They couldn't
Yeah.
come to a contract agreement, and that was that. So
yeah,
best of luck
makes
to
perfect
Thrun,
sense.
and hopefully he gets the deal he wants when it comes to San Jose, if they
Yeah.
have money
Right.
left.
The
And
next
then
one is
Minnesota
unfortunately sad
Wild.
for me as well.
Right, yeah, it is. But I'm kind of excited about it. And he was ours first. So no, just kidding.
I mean, to be fair, that's true. He was
Yeah,
yours
ours
first.
first.
but the Wild acquired forward Marcus Johansson, which I believe is how you say his name, from the Caps in exchange for a third-round pick in 2024.
Very sad to see Mojo go. Mojo Jojo.
Mojo, I love that.
As we like to
But
call
hey,
him.
we got our Mojo back. So, and if
Which again,
anybody
it's super funny
remembers those
because
commercials, yeah,
he played for the Caps. This was his second time playing for the Caps, and now it's his second time playing for the Wild.
yeah.
So it's cute that our organizations are doing
And
little
somebody in one of the
tradesies.
Wild groups, I guess, said that the one thing they remember about him from when he played for the Wild was he broke his arm and like cheered or something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see because I don't think he played for us for very long
Yeah.
before.
He's
if I
been traded
remember
like
right.
5 times. So
Yeah.
we
And
got
we
him
had
from
a
Seattle.
Janssen way back when our franchise started, but it's
I don't
not
think
the
there's any
same.
relation. Yeah.
No, it's spelled
And then
slightly differently.
yeah, the Caps made some more moves today. We acquired defenseman Rasmus Sandin from the Toronto Maple Leafs in exchange for defenseman Eric Gustafsson and a first-round pick in the 2023 draft. Which makes me
Nice.
sad because I did really like Gus. He did an incredible job for us this season. I'm very sad to see him go, but Sandin is going to be really helpful for us too. So
Yeah,
I can't really
Rasmus
say.
Sandin's a solid player.
He's
for
also
sure.
Yeah,
only 22 years old.
I know, and so that's what we're
Is
trying to
he?
get is a lot more youth
He's only
on our
two.
side.
He's only 22. Yeah, he's only 202. We're doing
Okay.
good.
He's
I didn't realize
202.
he
He's
was
got
that
20
young.
points this
No,
year.
he's
So I
drinking.
mean, yeah,
Yeah.
right. I know. I got water.
Yeah.
Joking. It's vodka. No, I'm kidding. But he's got 20 points this year. So I mean, that's gonna be
Yeah.
super helpful for you guys in the long run.
Yeah.
It is. It just, again, sad to lose Mojo, sad to lose Gus Bus.
Yeah, but hey,
I guess that's the price of doing business.
it is. You
There's
know what else is
40
the price?
seconds left in our hockey game, and there's going to be a fight.
Is it?
Come on, boys.
You know
I
what
love a
else is a
fight.
price to pay for doing
Mhm.
business? Is the New York Islanders acquired
Yeah.
forward Pierre Engvall from the Toronto Maple Leafs in exchange for a third-round pick in 2024.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
again,
the
another
Maple
case
Leafs
of
are another one that just kind of blew up their whole roster, it feels like.
Yeah, dude, Maple Leafs,
they've just
especially
been
today, made some
stacking.
changes.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
dude.
Maple
they've been
Leafs, the
doing what they
Caps,
can.
I
Out of
mean,
control.
Preds, yeah. It'll
Um,
be very interesting. And then,
speaking of the Maple Leafs,
yeah, acquired defenseman Luke Shen from the Canucks for exchange for a third-round pick in 2023.
Again, I'm seeing the Canucks name in here a lot as giving shit up.
Yeah,
well, because
without
they're
getting
yeah.
Without
Well, I
getting
mean,
a whole shit ton. Like,
they
yeah, they
got a
got a
third
third round
rounder in 2023. I mean,
for this year.
it's
yeah,
it's
which
I'd
is
say
great. Like that's a great draft pick.
it's a reasonable
But
trade.
yeah,
I
it kind
think
of
that's
feels like
fair.
they've
Yeah.
definitely, given
Well,
up on.
And
They're just selling the whole team.
we all knew this was
Yeah,
coming.
basically.
Yeah.
We all
Right.
talked about this and predicted it weeks ago.
Yeah.
Once the chips started falling with Boudreaux and then Horvat, and now they're kind of just dispersing things.
Yeah.
Right.
A shock trade to me was the Edmonton Oilers acquired defenseman Matthias Ekholm and a sixth-round pick in 2024 from the Nashville Predators in exchange for defenseman Tyson Berry, forward Reed Schaefer, and a first-round pick in 2024 or 2023 draft, and a fourth-rounder in the 2024 draft.
Yeah.
I'm a bit shocked
Pred-
by this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, the Preds are another group that's making a lot of trades because same day, just before this one, they acquired forward Austin Rushloff from the Rangers in exchange for future considerations.
Yeah.
So-
The third one that's been that future consideration.
Also, while I'm
Big
thinking
link.
of it, the Preds also announced that Barry Trotz is going to be their next GM.
Yes.
Barry Trotz is obviously Cap's favorite.
Yeah.
Helped get us to a
Yeah.
fucking Stanley Cup. And he's going back to Nashville where he actually had helped, I guess, name the team back in the day.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, shout out to Trots.
Yeah.
That just reminded me
And
thinking about all that Nashville's putting on right
Yeah,
now.
what are you
Right.
guys doing over there in Minnesota, D? Or Danger?
I was like, I'm not there.
I say D doesn't know what the fuck we're
Can I
doing
be
up
there,
here.
though?
Too many goddamn D's,
I
man.
know, right?
That's very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we promptly today gave up that 5th round pick we received earlier, or
Mhm.
maybe it was our own. I don't fucking know. But we acquired Gustav Nyquist from the Blue Jackets, which I'm actually excited about. He is not on my injury list, but researching it, he is injured currently. So
Yeah.
that's the sucky part. He is an unrestricted free, or yeah, he will be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. So hopefully we'll get to see him actually play for the Wild.
Yeah. Right.
What I read sounded like he was out for the rest of the season. So
Ooh.
it's a very interesting move. Doesn't make any sense in my brain, but we'll
Yeah.
see how it shakes out.
Exactly. You know,
Yeah.
the big one that
Yeah.
happened today
Yeah.
is
I think the most current, yeah.
yeah,
too.
I think
Mhm.
this is right now the biggest name that's moved.
Yeah.
The New York Rangers acquired forward Patrick Kane and defenseman Cooper Zek from the Chicago Blackhawks in a 3-team trade that also includes the Arizona Coyotes. The
Right.
Blackhawks will receive defenseman Andy Walensky, a 2nd-round pick in 2023 and a 4th-round pick in 2025 from the Rangers, and defenseman Vili Sara Jarvi. There we go. From the Coyotes. The Coyotes will receive a 3rd-round pick in 2025. We were all kind of waiting for Patrick Kane to get traded.
I was
Yeah.
not expecting it to be this complicated, though.
Yeah,
I
thought it
wasn't
would have been
either.
a lot easier, to deal with.
And
Yeah.
my grandma had said too that apparently his trade was conditional on being sent to the Rangers. That's where he wanted to go.
Yeah, because he has a
I
no
don't know
trade
how much.
clause.
Yeah. So
He's
I
originally
thought that was
from the
kind of
New York
interesting too.
area. He,
Yeah.
I guess at one point, well, I'll skip over that. But he's from New York, so that's the only place he's going to go back to. Makes sense.
I mean, he's from Buffalo,
Yeah,
so I mean,
He's been asking though for a
for the
while.
Rangers.
Yeah, he's wanted to go
He's
to the
been wanting.
Rangers.
I mean, he's got
specifically.
45 points this year, so add that to the already stack
Right.
roster
Yeah.
that the
Yeah.
Rangers have been putting together. It's
Right.
it's nuts. Like to grab Mott, to grab Tarasenko,
Mm-hmm.
and now you add Patrick
Yeah.
Kane.
Right.
And where do you put him? Do you put him on your first line?
No,
Do
I
you
don't know,
wouldn't.
man.
But I'm not a huge Patrick Kane fan.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, I mean, he's had his personality things, but
Yeah.
he's still
Well, and
regarded
it's
as
just-
right now
I
the
don't like
best
the way-
American.
Yeah. I don't like him as a person.
Yeah.
Oh
is
yeah,
more my issue
well,
with him.
fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise the next big name that we're kind of waiting on to hear from is Chikrin, I think.
Yeah, the Jacob
And I'm
Chikrin.
almost
Of anybody else
positive
that's on the
he's-
trade docket per se.
Yeah. I'm almost positive he's going to fucking the Caps.
Yeah,
I'm
We've
sure he
been
will
courting
be.
him hard, but there are other names that have thrown their hat into the ring. So the Kings are also courting him, the Hurricanes, the Penguins, and the Oilers.
Oh, so
The
Buffalo
Oilers
didn't
have
go for him. All right.
no. The Oilers have reportedly cooled off as of today, though, so it might just be Kings, Caps, Hurricanes, and Penguins. From what I
Right.
have seen, and a few sources have said this, Chikrin is most interested in going to the Caps out of those
Yeah.
teams.
Hmm.
If he gets much of a say.
I would be
at
too if
all.
I were him.
Yeah.
I absolutely would be.
Yeah.
They're all good
Um,
options too.
So
They
we'll
are,
see.
But
We
yeah.
shall see.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
And hopefully he's happier wherever he goes. I mean,
Right.
that's kind of the
Oh,
regardless of anything
Mhm.
else. You know what I mean?
with all those teams, he's gonna have a shot to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
it's just a matter of
Absolutely.
who's your pick.
Absolutely.
Only
Yeah.
one of those teams is pretty much cemented in the playoffs, though. So
Yeah.
if
Right.
you think about it, his best bet to
But-
get instant success would probably be the Kings. Out of the three,
Yeah.
they're the best right now.
But I think
Pittsburgh and
organization-wise, that's not the type of team he's looking to go to.
right, and we have to
So,
see again, like you said, if there's any say in it, we'll have to see
yeah,
what his opinion is for that.
right.
But
Right.
Absolutely.
the only thing we do know is he wants the hell up out of Arizona.
He wants out. And he hasn't played in weeks, y'all, because
Yeah.
they benched him basically after he was like,
Yeah.
"Get me the fuck out of here." They're like, "All right,
Yeah.
fine."
Well, as soon as he requested the trade, they benched him.
Yeah.
They sat him.
Which kind of sucks because that means when he gets to his new team, like it's gonna take a minute to catch up.
Yeah, he's gonna be.
I'm
Yeah.
assuming he's skating on his own, and maybe he's been at practices. I'm not really sure, but when you're not playing in games, it's different.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
still so
absolutely.
different. Um,
Absolutely. It'll
well,
be
with that,
interesting too to see, and we'll get to it when we talk about like the suspensions
mhm,
and fines, but to see how if there's a continuing of the uptick in suspensions and fines with some of these
yeah,
trades and players moving, and I can't help but to think that there's got to be some correlation because we have what
yeah, it popped
1,
off.
2, 3, 6 new ones
Yeah.
in a
Yeah,
week, and
after
there
all this
hadn't been
goes down,
any
yeah,
Well, I mean, you think
or
there's
like
since the
weeks.
beginning of
nine, or
yeah.
there's 10 of them that happened today. 10 trades happened today.
No, she meant 6
I'm talking
fines
about
and
fines and
suspensions.
Oh,
suspensions.
fines and
So
suspensions.
to see if it continues to go upwards with all of the trades that are happening,
Yeah.
because people, 3 of these are from today.
I mean,
I
that's
mean,
yeah. I mean, possibly.
I've
You
seen it
know,
though, like
so
in our games, I've noticed definitely there's a lot more aggression out there after those
yeah,
trades especially after Dima and Hath got traded. Like
yeah,
we were out for blood. So
yeah,
Right.
I think
yeah,
there's an
absolutely.
absolute correlation.
So yeah,
Possibly.
it'll be
Yeah.
very interesting to see, and to see how some of these names mesh with each other, because we're seeing movement from certain players that we haven't seen move teams
Yeah.
in years.
Well, Patrick Kane has
Yeah.
never played for any other team but the Chicago
Yeah,
Blackhawks.
right.
Yeah. Again, same
But
with
even
Dima.
like Chikrin has been, with Arizona for a while.
Matthias Ekholm, I
Was it
can't think of the last
Yeah,
place he's played
Ekholm had been there.
besides
I mean, look at even
Nashville.
back all the way back to O'Reilly. I mean, he played
Yeah.
for
The Blues.
for the Blues for fucking ever.
Yeah, for like 5
Uh,
years.
Yeah,
Almost 6
something
years.
like that. So it'll be very interesting to
I will.
see also how locker room behavior is, and how, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I do know apparently the Wild were also trying to work on getting Brock Brozier
Mm-hmm.
home, they say,
Yeah.
because he's from Burnsville, Minnesota.
Mm.
He's never played for the Wild, but apparently he wants to come home and play in Minnesota.
Oh, I'm sure.
That'd be cool.
And I'd be okay with that. It'd be interesting to see where he would fit in with the lineup.
Yeah.
The newest rumor too, just about the Wild, is apparently Dumba is going to be staying. I think Greenway is still up in the air.
Well, they can afford to pay Dumba.
They can afford to play Dumba, and Dumba, honestly, like Guerin and Dean Evanson, so our GM and our head coach, both went and said to Dumba, like, we need you to either step it up, or like
Right.
we're gonna be looking to shop you out.
Yeah.
And Dumba really did. I mean, he's had an assist tonight, or no, Greenway had the assist tonight with Reeves, which was phenomenal, because Greenway hasn't done much play wise.
I just got
but
news
Dumba
that
is
Nick
definitely
Nick
Huh?
Jensen is safe for us. So
yeah.
Is he?
that's like you're talking about how
He
Dumba's
good.
safe. We literally just got an alert that said that Nick is safe for us, which is when I was worried because there was massive talks about him being traded.
I mean,
Good.
that again, he's on my fantasy
Yeah.
team, so like, if I don't have
Yeah.
a ton of players changing,
Yeah.
Our game's now going to a shootout too.
like, so I have Tyson Berry.
This is our 10th shootout of the season.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot.
Already.
We also
Right?
might see Lars Eller get traded from the Caps. There was interest in Lars Eller
Mhm.
and Nick Jensen. Like we had several teams asking after them because they were becoming UFAs.
Yeah.
So Lars
Okay.
Eller is another name that hasn't moved from the Caps roster in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm curious
Yeah.
to see what Anaheim does on Friday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anaheim hasn't done much yet.
Well, that's why I'm curious in if they buy or if they sell. I don't know why you'd
Yeah.
buy. You're the worst team in the NHL right now. Just Stick with
Right.
that. Try to get the first pick. Call it a day,
Dude.
and then figure it out next year.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if they trade Gibson. If they trade Cam Fowler,
Mhm.
So I
Well, that
guess
actually
Yeah.
kind of pushes us into one of our questions of the week because we kind of have two this week.
Yeah.
So the first question is, should the NHL allow teams to continue making trades if it's clear that they're not in playoff contention, which is the Anaheim Ducks? Um,
Yeah.
It's my opinion that I think that Anaheim should be able to do whatever the fuck they want because
Yeah.
they're clearly not getting into the playoffs this year.
I
There's
don't
no
think
shot at a wild
I
card
don't think
spot.
the league should tell any team that they can't make a trade during the allotted time, regardless of where they are in the standings.
No, so what I'm saying is the cutoff is, the third, but
Yeah.
I think that they should continue it.
Oh,
I think
no.
Anaheim should be able to make trades in April
I
because it's not going to affect
Yeah.
anything.
I
You know
don't
what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I don't think so. I feel like the trade deadline is good for the league. And I mean, because at that point, what are you trading? What is going to be so important to get in April that you can't get in June after the season's over? Like there's not much there that's going to go for them or against them if they trade in or after the deadline during the season or in the off season.
I mean, I think that there is I just think it would be useful the longer you have a team to be able to spend time and gel together and get used to the system with the new coach that they're playing under, the longer the
Yeah.
better. And so that would be my thing is that for these teams that are doing a massive overhaul, like again, the Canucks, they're doing a massive overhaul, the longer that they can have players here, again, starting March 6th, they can start getting other trades accomplished.
Right.
Means that they're going to be a
Right.
much stronger team come October. And so I
Right.
think for
Yeah,
teams that are
absolutely.
very clearly shit in the goddamn bed, why not give them extra time? Because they clearly
Yeah.
fucking need it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Hey, that's fair.
Again, I think it's only for the bottom.
Sorry.
Dangerous watching a shootout.
Freddie scored. We're in round 3 of our shootout, and Freddie's the
Oh,
first
God.
one on either team to score a goal.
Oh shit.
Damn.
I'm
I
not
hate
kidding
this.
when I'm like, this is so stressful right now.
That's nuts.
Because Kirill didn't score.
Oh, I hate when that happens when you're expecting it
Right?
to.
Yeah.
Well, I think that moves us into the second part of our question of the week, which is should the NHL be vigilant of teams putting players on long-term injured reserve to make room for trades before playoffs? And the reason why we bring this up is that there was apparently a memo released by the NHL this morning saying that it's going to closely scrutinize trades where injured players are acquired with the intent of keeping them on long-term injured reserve until the playoffs. This could impact the market for players like Nyquist, Monahan, Enrique, etc. While the NHL isn't outright banning any such moves, it said it will investigate transactions to see if they constitute circumvention of the collective bargaining agreement.
Well, it's because it's happened twice
There's a lot of
already in
words,
the
that's
last
nice.
6 years. It's happened 2 different
Yeah.
times. Once
Right.
with
Right.
the Vegas Golden Knights, and most notably one with the Tampa Bay Lightning, where they were moving
yes.
players around. And what it does is it frees up that space. They could slot
Right.
someone in with a little bit more money to be over the cap,
Right.
and they can,
Yeah.
go make a playoff push.
And I know, I don't think that was the Wild's intention with Nyquist by any means, but I do know that, when Brodin got hurt, they were debating putting him on IR, but they ended
Right.
up having to because they weren't sure how severe his injuries were at that point. And in order to be able to afford to bring somebody up from Iowa, they had to put him on IR.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, that's one thing, and I think that's, the proper way to do it, right?
Right.
Versus what some of these other teams have done in the past, where their purpose, they're taking advantage of the system, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm only saying the Wild aspect of it because it's my team and it, just happened, but I don't think that they're purposefully, being shady about it. I
Right.
think with this circumstance, it's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you
And
said,
I
Danger.
hopefully
It's
Nyquist.
Yeah, and like you said in the first place, it's not all of these are malicious intent.
Right,
And
yeah,
we're also
yeah.
not
I mean,
saying that
Rodin
they're doing
legitimately
it.
got
Yeah.
hurt, and we just don't
Yeah.
know. Like, he'll go
Right.
out and skate, and it'll re-aggravate the injury, and so then they
Yeah.
have to keep him on, on the bench, and so it's super frustrating.
Yeah.
But it's also, we don't want to get him in a position where we play
Right.
him too soon, and then he gets seriously
Right.
injured for the rest of the season.
Right.
So yeah, I don't think with us it's a malicious thing, and I would like to think that the league has come away from some of the purposeful, malicious use of this stuff. That might just be wishful thinking.
And I
I'm
mean,
not
the
quite
question
sure,
the
but-
question isn't well, what about the 2 times this happened? The question is, what about the times it's happened and no one's caught it?
Right.
Right.
And
Well,
and
and
again,
how do you police it?
exactly. And
How do
again,
you
not to say that
prove that it's
every
a malicious
team
and
is doing it
purposeful
on
thing? Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
and again, literally the best things right now to talk about is Shea Weber and
Mhm.
and Gustav
Yeah.
Nyquist. Like,
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
are 2 players on the IR that
Nyquist
are
isn't even
gonna be probably
sorry.
long term, but
Yeah.
you know.
And Shea Weber is still listed as Arizona.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But Nyquist isn't on here at all for us or for Columbus,
Huh.
which is
Interesting.
interesting.
Yeah.
So unless no, he's still not on here at all. I'm like, maybe I caught it right as they were updating it.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah, they're not on either. So I don't know why that would be.
Right.
Because I was like right away going, okay, like trying to remind myself of what his injuries were and why,
Yeah.
But I
as
guess
I was
I
trying to
think
figure out why the fuck we pick up an injured player. But
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and
I think the
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think the biggest thing is that, like, they are looking at it from the fact of if it's circumventing the collective bargaining agreement, which also impacts the players. That's why the
Yeah.
CBA
Oh,
is in
yeah.
place, is because it's supposed to protect players. And so I think like the NHL has to do that if they're going to live up to their contract with the NHLPA.
Yeah.
So like they do need to be vigilant. I don't think that they have been. But it does call into question, how are you vigilant against that? Because sometimes it isn't that same situation that it has been in the past,
right.
like with Tampa Bay.
Yeah. And I mean,
And also when you have 80 bazillion gajillion trades happening,
right.
how the fuck do you catch them all?
Right.
Right.
But I think it's good for the league to say, hey, we don't want you guys to fuck yourselves over, and we don't want you
Yep.
to fuck your players over.
Right.
Just in the off chance that, I could free up a little space and a little cap space, just
Mhm.
slot someone else in to help get us going if we put you on long-term IR, and
Yeah.
that's and then once it hits the playoffs, it's a totally different animal.
It is, yeah,
Right.
because everything changes.
Everything changes, and I think it's good that the league is like you said, D, keeping every party involved, in the good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the hardest thing is, how do you prove it?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. It's not what you
It
know; it's
is.
what you can prove.
And
Exactly.
right. And there will
Um,
always be people trying to, circumvent the wheel and get away with shit
Oh yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah.
Always. And I mean,
until
truthfully,
they get
nothing
caught.
that they do will stop it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're always going to find, no matter what what rules the institution puts into place, someone is going to try to find a way to change those rules for
Yeah.
their benefit.
In the words
Right.
of NASCAR Hall of Famer Junior Johnson, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Yeah.
So
Very fair. Very fair.
So we're gonna get into the 3 stars of the week. And I have a funny story when we get into that.
Yeah.
But let's start with the 3rd star of the week, which is John Gibson, goalie for the Anaheim Ducks. So look at you, Chris. You
Gibby,
got someone in the 3 stars.
dude, Gibby's
There you
been
go.
a
Isn't that awesome?
fucking monster. Like, yeah,
Gibby's a great
his
Yeah.
his goals against average is not great, but the
Yeah.
amount of shots he takes and the amount of them that he saves compared to, like, we could be
Right.
losing 10-1 every game. But
Yeah.
Gibby's a stud, and
Yeah.
I feel like we're wasting his talent.
Yep. So he went 2-0-1. Well, actually, the Ducks were 2-1-1.
Yeah.
But he made the league best of 143 saves, highlighted by a pair of 51 save performances. So back to back he saved 51 goals, which is honestly impressive.
Yeah.
So you guys actually picked up a couple of points this week, which is nice for you.
We did.
Yeah. He turned aside 51 of 55 shots, 22 out of 23 in the third period alone, and a 4-3 overtime loss to the Florida Panthers. He followed that up with 41 saves on 43 shots, and then a flawless 16 save final frame and a 4-2 win over the Washington Capitals, which I was not happy about. And then he closed the week with another 51 stops in his third 50 save effort of February and a 3-2 triumph over the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah, that game was really close and it was really good. Obviously
sure it
we
was.
all know how good the fucking Carolina Hurricanes are.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it seems like Anaheim's slowly finding their groove, which is good to see. I mean, it doesn't really
But
matter
also-
right now, but
You don't want them to be too good because you still want
Right.
Bedard.
But
so.
you want to see them
that's
start
true.
to mesh
Yeah.
because there's only
Right.
like one or two players on that team that have a 1-year contract or maybe have a couple years, like a year remaining. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
really curious again to see what they do on Friday.
Yeah,
Which I guess
absolutely.
as of day of release would be today. So
Yeah.
we'll see what they do this afternoon to maybe build for the future or
Yeah.
add on to what they got right now,
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. This week in the 3 stars, it is goalie heavy because our second star is Linus Ullmark, the goalie for Boston Bruins.
Fucking Ullmark,
Fucking
man.
Linus
Ullmark became the 13th different goaltender in NHL history and the first since January 9th of 2020 to score a regular season goal. He also went 2-0-0 with 1.0 goals against average and 9.66 save percentage to help the league leading Bruins extend their winning streak to 6 games dating back to February 14th. He yielded 1 goal in each of his 2 starts, making 30 saves against the Ottawa Senators. And 20 and 26. Wait, what? No, sorry, 26 stops against the Vancouver Canucks. Can't read. And then he capped the week with his league best 30th win of the season, making him the second fastest goaltender in NHL history to reach the milestone behind only fellow Bruin Tiny Thompson in 1929. The 29-year-old
Tiny
has
was a big
earned.
dude too.
Yeah.
Sorry. ADD moment. But somebody like Tiny Thompson, he's got to be like
He's a
fucking
big
7
dude.
feet tall. Like,
Right.
come on.
Ullmark,
got it.
who's only 29, has earned 56 victories this season, in 2 seasons, with Boston, after totaling 50 wins to his first 6 NHL campaigns. So he's fucking killing it. Also, at the time that he scored that goal, he officially pulled ahead of Ryan Reeves for any goals this season.
That shit was funny.
Until
That shit
tonight,
made me
that
laugh
just-
so hard. I saw that and I fucking died that Linus Ullmark had officially scored more goals
I
than
saw
Ryan Reeves
that like
until tonight,
4
but-
times on my Facebook feed, and everybody kept tagging me in it. I'm like, shut up.
I mean,
But
now, granted,
Ryan Reeves
that
scored his
means
first
that
goal
he's-
tonight with the Wilds.
It means though that he's tied with Linus Ullmark. So I don't know which is worse, losing to a goalie or being tied with a goalie.
Being tied with a
Hey,
I'll let
goalie.
you know
you
what?
decide. Let us know in the
Like we
comments
said-
below.
Yeah.
By the way,
So-
Tiny Thompson was 5'10".
5'10".
5'10".
He acquired the nickname Tiny as a joke, as he was the tallest player on the team at the time.
That is amazing.
That's
as
sad.
a teenager playing hockey.
Okay. Well,
He was 5'10", 160 pounds. So I was just about to put, like, in the show chat, spoiler alert, he in fact was not a big dude.
No, he was average.
Yeah,
shorter than
he was
me.
very average, especially for that time frame. But he did play 12 seasons in the NHL.
Yeah.
We might have to do him as an obscure player sometimes.
maybe.
honestly.
Because I love talking about old school hockey players like that. Like, he played in 1929. Like,
The fact that he's still the fastest goaltender to win 30 games
says
is crazy.
so much.
Since
Yeah.
1929. Shout
Yeah.
out to Tiny.
Shout out to Tiny.
So I guess we'll
Oh,
move
he
on
played for the
from Linus.
Minneapolis Millers
Hmm.
in the AHA.
Wow.
His 3 seasons with
That's
the
cool.
Millers, he appeared in 118 games, recording 33 shutouts with a 1.37 goals against average.
Nice.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll stop talking about a random, not our obscure player of the week this week, but
For the first star, surprising no one, he's here again, is Connor McDavid. of the Edmonton
McJesus.
Oilers.
McJesus.
McDavid, who recorded multiple goals and points in all 3 appearances, led the NHL in goals with a total of 6, points with a total of 11, shots on goal with a total of 23, plus minus with a positive 7, power play assists, tied for 3rd, power play points tied for 4th, or not tied for 3rd, tied with 3, power play points tied with 4, and shorthanded goals or points 2, to propel the Oilers to a 2-1-0 week. So obviously he just fucking stays crushing it. He became the 5th fastest and 5th youngest player in NHL history to reach the 800 point milestone, achieving in just 545 games at 26 years and 39 days old. He then registered 2 goals and 2 assists in each of his next outings through that week. His most recent performance gave him the league best of 48 goals and 65 assists for 113 points through 60 total games. The most by an NHL player through 60 games in a season since 1995 when Mario Lemieux did it.
And as of
he
time
did
of recording,
130
he's got 115 now.
Great.
Great.
Not surprising.
50 goals.
Right.
Fucking McJesus, man.
So he's fucking killing it. No wonder he's number 1 yet again.
I still
'Cause that's a lot.
fully believe he can hit 150
11 points in
this
3
year.
games.
Like, there's not a question in
shall
my
see.
mind. There's a chance he can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very much so.
Right.
Fucking McDavid, man.
So those
Big
are our
Daddy.
3 stars of the week, y'all.
Yeah.
With an honorable mention
Of Tiny Thompson.
of Tiny
Of
Thompson.
Tiny
yeah.
Thompson. Which I
He
fucking
gets an
love.
honorable star. You know what I mean?
Honorable star.
Just for being who he is.
is.
Real quick, before we get into injuries and whatnot, do we want to go over the standings of where we all are since
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's been some
absolutely.
shit going down?
I mean,
We
this is where things are going to get interesting. So, your top 3 in the Eastern Conference divisions. The Metropolitan Division is led by the Carolina Hurricanes, New Jersey Devils, and New York Rangers. I very much so think that's going to be a way closer battle. With
Yeah.
all 3 teams loading up a little bit more. Some more than others. The Atlantic Division, your leaders are the Boston Bruins, Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Western Conference teams, Central is led by the Dallas Stars, Colorado Avalanche, and the Minnesota Wild.
What?
And your Pacific Division leaders are the Vegas Golden Knights, Los Angeles Kings, and Edmonton Oilers. Your top 2 for each Western and Eastern Conference wildcard spots are currently the Islanders and the Pittsburgh Penguins. And the Western Conference has the Winnipeg Jets and the Seattle Kraken. I'm gonna be real, y'all. I don't know if I see Pittsburgh holding on to that for much longer because Buffalo's 1 point behind them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Buffalo,
I think we're going to see some massive movement on this list. I don't think anyone has a position in the wild card race, at least. I think very few people have a position secured.
Yeah. Well, think about it this way. In the last 10 games, the Buffalo Sabres have acquired 11 points in their last 10 games. They're 5-4-1.
Yeah, I mean, they're killing it. Good for them.
That is a good week.
Yeah.
Or that's a good, week and a
Yeah.
half. I mean, 4 losses
Hopefully
is
one of
never
my
great,
teams
but
can
when
do something.
you're trying to hit a wild card spot, honestly, you're just trying to take the good with the bad.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. That's fair.
We need to see the Calgary Flames step up a little bit if they want to challenge. They're 4 points out
Right.
of that second spot, which, again, like,
By the way, the Wild are now above Colorado.
Are they? All right.
Yeah, we're in second place
Let
now.
me refresh this then. See if it changed.
Get it right.
It did. Yep.
Yes,
All right. So it did
come
change.
on.
So second
Yeah,
is the Minnesota
they
Wild.
just updated
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And like the
But
bottom.
yeah, I
does
wanted
win
to
the
look
game.
at like what the points were because I was like, oh, does Colorado play tonight? Because it's how much
Like,
do I have to
the
watch?
top
Yeah,
top
you're gonna stay
8,
up and
I
watch
think
that.
we're still gonna watch. bounce back and forth
Oh, yeah.
on the Western
Oh,
Conference
yeah.
because
absolutely.
yeah.
they're so close. And Seattle jumped above Edmonton, so they are now in third place
Yeah.
in the Pacific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Again,
doesn't surprise me overly. You know what I
Seattle's
mean? Like,
really good this year.
No.
They
yeah,
have taken
are.
a huge step
Yeah.
forward.
They
Huge
really
step
have.
Like,
forward.
good
They
for
really have.
fucking
And it's
them,
been really
honestly.
fun
They
to
deserve it.
watch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're putting
Matt
in work.
too is finally on board for being low-key a Seattle fan.
Seattle, listen, they're an exciting
after the All-Star
franchise.
What's
game.
up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just fun. They're a fun
fun.
team to watch play. They enjoy themselves. They don't take it too seriously right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's just enjoyable to watch.
They're building their community and the lore that
Yeah.
surrounds it, and
Oh yeah.
that's beautiful.
And
Love to
they're
see it.
putting a
Exactly.
good team on the ice,
They are.
Yeah.
which
They
also
absolutely
helps
are.
Exactly.
build.
Yeah,
Your bottom
Yeah.
5 in the league. Do we want to know who the bottom 5 are?
always.
So
Couldn't
I
happen to
think we
better
already
teams.
know.
So your bottom 5 start out. 28th in the league is the Arizona Coyotes. 29th is the San Jose Sharks. 30th is the wow, I can't read. Chicago Blackhawks. The 31st team's the Anaheim Ducks, and your worst team in the NHL currently is the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Wow.
Which I feel like they dropped really fast.
They dropped real
I
fast.
think what we're seeing is that there's a lot more needed in that team than Johnny Gaudreau.
Yeah.
Because holy shit.
Yeah.
They need to figure
Shout
it
out
out
to
there.
Columbus.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Columbus for getting him and Eric Goodbranson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boston obviously is still the top team in the league, and it's not even close.
Yep.
Dude, the Boston
They're
Bruins
crushing it.
are putting together
Crushing it.
one of the best regular season performances by any team in the history of the NHL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if they're
Right,
not,
right.
if they don't already have the record, they are on pace because they have in total lost 13 games. The next closest to that is the Carolina Hurricanes have 11 losses just in regulation. So to have a combined loss rating of overtime losses and regulation losses of 13
Right.
is fucking nuts.
Yeah. That is crazy.
So like I said last week, I'm going to be more excited. Obviously, as a fan of a Western Conference team, I'm going to be a little more intrigued on what's happening over there. But the Eastern Conference is wrapped up except for the wild card. That's
Yeah.
the only exciting part. So to not know what's like, there's no certainty in what's actually going to happen in the Western Conference right now.
Yeah.
I think is super
Yeah.
exciting, and people should be paying attention to that.
Absolutely. There's still plenty of hockey left, folks. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't
mean,
count
we're-
too many people out. I mean, I'd count Columbus out.
Yeah, Columbus.
I'd count
like,
Anaheim out.
yeah, the bottom 5 you can
Yeah.
pretty much count out.
100%.
But at one
Absolutely.
point, I think I realistically saw, was it last week? I think I said, realistically, I thought there were like 23 teams that actually had a shot of being playoff teams. That
Right.
number's obviously starting to dwindle down now.
Yep.
But that's a good sign in the NHL when most of your league has teams capable of making the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah.
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 absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's what we want to see. That's the kind of competitive spirit you
Right.
want in the NHL.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, speaking about competitive spirit, I guess
Yes.
that'll bring us over into our report with danger on
Yes.
not only our injuries but our bad boys.
Our bad boys,
Our
because who
bad
doesn't love
boys.
bad boys? For our bad boys of the NHL, there are a lot from last week.
Yeah. We went
Starting
from
with
like nothing for a while.
yeah, from the 10th to the 22nd, there was nothing. So 12 days of nothing.
Yeah.
And then there's 6 of them. So we have first Ian Cole from the Lightning was fined $5,000 for kneeing Andrew Cogliano.
Yep.
There we go. Got there eventually. Oh, that was the one on the 10th. Sorry. Dylan Larkin is from Detroit, got fined $5,000 for cross-checking TJ Oshie from Washington.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was like
Which, yeah.
blatant,
It was a
you know?
nasty hit too. Yeah, it
Right
was
in the
definitely
neck.
a good call for
Yeah.
the fine for sure.
Yeah.
And then on the 24th, Brad Marchand from Boston got fined also $5,000 for tripping Oliver Bjorkstrand from
Bjorkstrand,
Seattle.
yeah.
Strand. Sorry, there's an R in there.
Hey, show of
Um,
hands for anyone who's not surprised that Marchand got fined.
No. And so wasn't he the one too that was popping off about how he couldn't believe that he got fined the money for it or something?
It's
I know
likely.
Crosby was pissed about getting thrown out of that game, but
Yeah.
I think Marchand, I think I read something that he was mouthing off, so that might have contributed to it.
I wonder if he also called the ref a bitch.
Oh, probably.
Well, he's also
It is
like
Marchand.
a repeat offender.
He's like the
so
most
he's gonna-
suspended and fined player in NHL history or something like
I
that.
mean, probably,
Something
honestly.
like that. Something like that.
God damn,
but
Brad,
yeah.
chill out.
yeah. You wonder why some news
Right?
or channel station puts that his 2-minute penalty for existing was a thing. So
That was so fucking funny, though.
this is why, Brad. This is why. Then on the 24th, we have Eric Cernak from Tampa Bay, who was suspended for 2 games for elbowing Kyle Okposo.
Akposo, yeah.
Yeah, from Buffalo. And that forfeited $31,892 of his salary. On the 28th, so then the 3 of these were all today. So Colin Miller from Dallas got fined $5,000 for elbowing Nils Aman from Vancouver. I don't know if it's Nils or Nile.
Might be
He'll let us know.
Nils.
Christian Wolin from Vancouver got fined fined just $2,027 for slashing Ty Dellandrea. And then Keandre Miller from the Rangers got suspended for 3 games for unsportsmanlike conduct on Drew Doughty from LA, forfeiting $14,919.
Yeah, I didn't see
Wow.
see what happened, but I heard he like obliterated him.
Yeah, I didn't see that hit either, or like what happened.
Keandre's got a bit of a
No.
temper, so
Yeah, it sounds like it.
so there's a good
Um,
chance he like slashed him or cross-checked him or something.
Yeah,
Face washed him.
something.
Yeah. I'm trying to
Then
find it.
going on to our injured boys. For Anaheim, like always, we start at the beginning of the alphabet. We have Adam Henrique, who is out with a lower body injury, listed right now as out indefinitely. He did get moved to the IR. And this is saying that he is now like being considered week to week, but who knows? John Moore is also on IR with that upper body injury. He has been out all season, and they just updated it that we don't know when he's coming back. Anthony Stolarz is on IR with a lower body injury, will remain sidelined until the early part of March, which is, tomorrow. So we'll see when he can come back. Going down to Arizona, we have Josh Brown, who is on IR with an upper body injury. Unclear if he will be with the team when they play the Stars on Wednesday, which is tomorrow, as of time of recording. Jacob Chikrin, which we've already talked about, he requested a trade. He's been out indefinitely as they decide, and that's just the coach's decision.
Yeah.
But you don't see very often.
No.
I know, like I've seen
This
it
is
here and there,
crazy.
but
especially because
And
he's been out
then-
for so fucking long, dude.
right.
He was
Um,
injured for the beginning part of the season too, so
Yeah.
Right.
Chikrin really hasn't
Well,
played
and
much
then there
this
was
year.
the rumor that like he really like was healthy enough to play, but he didn't want to play for them
Yeah.
anymore, and so
Yeah.
he didn't come back and whatever. So it's very interesting to see how the Chikrin situation shakes out.
Yeah. Agreed.
And then Shea Weber is also listed as out for this season, as he continues to recover from injuries to the ankle, knee, and thumb.
Not the thumb.
The thumb, not my gumdrop buttons.
Not the gumdrop button.
For Boston, sorry.
No, you're fine.
For Boston, we have Taylor Hall, who has missed the previous 2 games with a lower body injury. They play the Sabres on Thursday night. It still remains to be seen if he will be able to play with the team Thursday. And then Vinny Lettieri, no, there's no L there.
Lettieri.
Lettieri, thank you. Is now on long-term IR with a lower body injury. No timetable currently for his return. For Buffalo, we have Rasmus Dahlin, who is held out of the last 2 games with an unknown injury. May or may not be able to come back when Buffalo plays the Bruins on Thursday. That's a lot of Bs. And then Alex Took is on IR with a lower body issue. No timetable for his return as of right now.
That's rough to use Darlene and Tuck.
Yeah, those are two big names
for them. Yeah.
For Calgary, we have Michael Stone, who is on IR with a lower body ailment. Unknown as of right now when he will be activated. I don't remember if we talked about him last week, but it happened on the day we recorded. Oh no, because we recorded the night earlier. Never mind.
Yeah.
So we didn't talk about him last week. For Carolina, the update on Andre Kase, who is still on long-term IR with that concussion, but may be able to come back early part of March, which is good news.
Yeah, I'm curious on how bad Kasha's concussion really was.
Yeah.
Because he's been out for a good amount of time.
A long while.
Well, he was hurt, I think, too, and then came back and then almost
then
immediately got a concussion.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
I believe so.
We've talked about it at least 3 weeks now.
Yeah, but I feel like we
date.
talked about him at the beginning of the season too, and then he was back.
Yeah.
For Chicago, geez, these are all relatively new too. We have Colin Blackwell, who is sidelined with a pulled groin. Unknown how long he will be debilitated. That is a pretty debilitating injury too. So one of my favorite names in the NHL, Mackenzie Entwistle, is designated to IR with a right wrist injury. Team officials have yet to return to provide an exact return date. Reese Johnson is also on IR, going through concussion protocol as well, without a definitive timetable for his recovery and
lots of concussions.
Well.
Yeah,
lots of concussions. Brett Seeney, I think is how you say that.
I think so.
Missed the last 2 games due to an illness, leaving it uncertain of whether or not he will play with the team on Thursday against the Stars. And then I don't remember, I feel like we've talked about him, but Jonathan Toews is also moved to IR with that illness. It just says illness. It doesn't give it any other info
so
on
he mentioned last week that he's stepping away from the team while he deals with symptoms of long COVID.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So
That's right.
Taves will
Remember
be.
you said
I
it was
don't.
Taves.
We're not seeing Taves the rest of the year. So
Yeah.
Which sucks. I mean, he's a big part of that team.
Yeah.
I bet if he were healthy, he would have also been traded.
Right.
And he still may. We don't know.
I mean,
He's ready to be
honestly,
done with Chicago for sure. For Colorado, update on Darren Helm, who is on IR with a lower body injury. He, right now, officials still don't have a date for him either. Eric Johnson, I think we talked about last week, but he is now on IR with a broken ankle. Also out indefinite amount of time. Curtis McDermott is absent from the last game while going through it as well. The concussion protocol will not be suiting up against the Devils on Wednesday. But that's all it says. So maybe his concussion isn't that bad. I don't know.
right.
It's a very weird way to word it for concussion protocol. And then Cale Makar has been out the last 4 games while going through the concussion protocol. He may or may not be able to return Wednesday versus the Devils.
Yeah, he got rocked.
Yeah. I saw that hit.
And Cale Makar's a good young player. So
Yeah, he is for sure. Nobody new for Columbus. They just still have the 4 guys out that we've talked about that will be out for the rest of the season, most likely.
Yeah. Probably.
Well, Justin Danforth might be able to come back late April, this says, but he had torn labrum in his shoulder.
Yeah.
Was expected to miss up to 6 months of action. That was back in October. So we may be seeing him before the end of the season. With how Columbus is playing, probably not.
I was going to say, there would be no point
about it.
in Columbus.
I'm not going to hold my breath about him coming back. But, for Dallas, Luke Glending who I
Glendenning.
mean, this says we should have talked about him, but it doesn't remember. I don't remember talking about him. Lower body injury. He's considered week to week as of right now. For Detroit, we have Philip Hornick.
I think so.
Yeah.
Hornick? Yeah, that looks
Hornick.
right. He left the last game with an upper body injury, yet confirmed whether or not he will be lacing up on Thursday when they play Seattle. We have Jordan Osterley, who is out indefinitely with an undisclosed injury, unknown completely on when he will come back, as well as Michael Rasmussen, who is out of action with a lower body issue. No return date as well for him. For Edmonton, we have Evander Kane, who is hurt yet again with an upper body injury. Listed out indefinitely right now.
Yeah, the other Kane.
The other Kane, yeah.
Who's also problematic.
Yep.
Also problematic. Also just got back off of IR after, for those of you that may not remember, he was the one who got basically his wrist cut open.
Yeah, that terrible.
Yeah,
skate,
completely cut
awful.
wide open by a skate, yeah.
Yeah. I forget how
Horrifying.
many stitches it was, but it was.
Oh, I think it was like
a lot.
30 or something like that. It was
Yeah,
pretty
something.
fucking wild.
It was
Yeah, it
gnarly.
was pretty insane. And then Ryan Murray, who is shuttled to IR with a back injury, not expected to return until early part of March.
Yikes.
As somebody that deals with back issues, that fucking sucks.
Yeah, dude.
Alexander Barkov for Florida is the first one on their injury list. He sat out the last 2 games with a hand issue.
Dude, Barkov's been hurt a
Unknown whether or
bunch.
not he will take on the Predators in Thursday's game.
He's been on the IR several times this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's, and he, am I remembering wrong? Of course, this isn't going to load quickly.
Isn't
Oh,
that
he's
always
only
the way?
27, so
Yeah.
he's younger than I thought he was.
Oh, yeah.
He's 6'3". Jeez, he's a tall
Yeah, he's a
dude.
big
Anyway.
fucking
He's tall,
dude.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a big fucking dude. You forget about it. Like he looks so like non-menacing in his picture, but
just
no,
like,
he's
oh,
like
giant
220 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. For Florida, also Sam Bennett is out of the lineup with a lower body injury. He is also currently listed as out indefinitely. Patrick Hornquist is out long-term IR with a concussion, expected to miss the rest of the season as of the 23rd. Spencer Knight is entering the player assistance program, will miss an undetermined length of time. And then Giovanni Smith wound up in long-term IR with a facial contusion. Will miss an extended period, it says. So I don't know what all happens there.
Hopefully everything's good with
Doesn't
Spencer
sound
Knight,
right.
you know.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
Not familiar
I've-
with what's going on, so
I'm not either, but I do appreciate seeing that people are taking advantage of the player assistance program.
Yeah,
that's like the
absolutely.
4th or 5th player this year.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah, there have been a
It
lot
is.
this season. And so he had that upper body injury. So he missed games in December for an illness, January 10th to the 19th,
Mm-hmm.
undisclosed.
Yeah.
The 27th of January to the 5th of February, he was out with an upper body injury. And then, as of the 23rd, he entered the player assistance program. So who knows, honestly, what might be causing it. But he's also only 21 years old. So
That's a lot to go through as
It
well,
is.
like so early
it
in
is.
your career.
Yeah.
So absolutely
4th
feel for
season, I
him.
think it said.
Yeah.
Third
Yeah,
season
and
with
he's
Florida.
he's a goaltender with a very bright future.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I've
absolutely. So
sung his
hopefully-
praises a couple times on this podcast. I'm a big Spencer Knight
Right.
guy. Big fan of his.
Yeah.
Hopefully everything
Yeah, great goalie.
turns out well, and the Florida Panthers have said he will continue to be paid while he goes through treatment or any sort of assistance that the
Right.
program will give. So
Good.
That's awesome.
Moving on to LA, we have Trevor Moore, who is also listed as out indefinitely on IR with an upper body injury. For Minnesota, we have Jonas Brodin, who is out with a lower body injury. He is on IR right now, which I kind of touched on earlier. We had to
Mhm.
him on IR to afford to bring people up from Iowa and whatnot. And then we have Gus Nyquist, who is now on the Wild, which is weird to say. But he is on IR with a shoulder injury. And obviously, I mean, that happened today, or the trade happened today. So like our team doctors haven't, I'm sure, looked over him yet or anything, but
Yeah.
and y'all, please bear with me through the massive list that is Montreal's injuries.
Grab a fucking snack. It's time to talk about the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh god, I'm gonna take a nap, y'all. Shit,
Yeah, right?
wake me
Yeah,
up when it's
please,
over.
please do. We will.
Pack a
We
lunch for this
will.
next
one. Right?
First one, we have Joel Armia, who is expected back early March, but he is out of action with an upper respiratory infection, which is not a common thing that we see.
That's
No.
rough.
Here, maybe back, early March is kind of when they're thinking. We have Kirby Doc, who is out, or idle, it says, with a lower body injury.
It's a fun name to
Unknown
say.
how long he's going to be out for as of right now. Joel Edmondson is out of commission with an upper body injury, will be out until at least the beginning of March. Brendan Gallagher has been placed on IR with the lower body injury, likely to be missing at least 6 weeks. That was as of February 23rd. So they're saying like early mid-March.
I can't
most
count, but that
likely.
doesn't seem like 6 weeks from now. But
I can't count.
It doesn't. So he must have been hurt prior to that, I'm assuming.
And this is like the update.
And they just
kind of
updated the
situation.
early March and then the 23rd.
Okay.
But for Montreal, and Caden Gould, I think is how you say his name. He's been out since January, but with a leg injury. But he might be coming back early March, it says. So, same with Emil Heineman, which it would be nice to see both of them come back for Montreal.
Yeah.
Sean Monahan is on long-term IR with a lower body injury, not projected to return until middle of March. So we'll see about that one. Chris Weidman has been added to IR with an upper body injury, considered week to week moving forward. And Arbor.
Oh, how did we say it was pronounced last time?
Oh, I remember this.
Jakai.
Yeah, Jakai. So please let us know if that is not the correct way to pronounce it, but that's all we have. But he is
That's what we
officially out for the rest of the season with undergoing right shoulder surgery.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
Yeah, it does.
For Nashville, we have Philip Forsberg was on IR with an upper body injury, listed currently as out indefinitely. Ryan Janssen, would think is how that one is said, out of the lineup after having right leg surgery, expected to miss 12 weeks of action, which puts him back at late May.
Yeah.
But we may see him play again this year.
Yeah, not having Forsberg and Johansson is kind of big, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially with the playoff push.
Right. And then Juuso Parisian?
Yeah,
Parsonen.
Sure. Parsonen? Sure. Either way. Missed last 2 games with an upper body issue. Unclear if he will play Thursday against the Panthers. So, hopefully, they at least have him back.
Yeah.
For New Jersey, we have Mackenzie Blackwood, who's shifted to IR with a lower body ailment. No current timetable for his return. And as we talked earlier, Timo Meier sat out the last 3 games due to an upper body injury and not expected to be active against the Avalanche on Wednesday.
That's wild. 3 players that have been traded that are on IR.
Yeah, which is insane. I mean, and at least like Timo, it sounds like he'll be coming back
a fresh
soon.
injury.
Yeah.
And truthfully,
yeah,
he
it's
probably
definitely
was held
interesting.
out because of trade-related stuff too.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's
sure
a possibility
they
for
just
that too.
let him sit
Yeah.
out a little longer. Yeah. And then for the Islanders, suck it. I'm just kidding. We just beat you. That's the reason why I'm cocky. But you beat us a lot, so please don't take it personally. But they have no new ones. The only one that we may not have talked about last week was Matthew Barzal. With a lower body injury, that was listed as the 20th.
Oh,
so that
yeah,
would have been
that's
the night we
right.
recorded.
Did we talk about
I
Barzal?
feel like we talked about Barzal because I feel like
I don't remember.
made a comment about how it's confusing because we have Lars Eller and I just feel like people are lazy.
Oh, that's
and then I realized that they're talking about Barzal whenever we play him.
That's
oh,
right.
sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then, just I'm sure we talked about him last time too, but Oliver Wahlstrom is now out for the rest of the season with lower body ailment. For New York Rangers, we have Ryan Lindgren, who is absent from the previous game with an upper body injury. Yet to be announced if he will play Wednesday, so tomorrow night against the Flyers. And then we have the Keandre Miller suspension for New York. He will be eligible to return when they play the Canadians on March 9th, which seems so far away, and it's really not.
It's like,
dude, tomorrow's March 1st. That's crazy.
Yeah, right? Ottawa, I think we talked both about Forsberg and Norris, so we don't need to talk about him or them. Philly also has a lot of people out right now. Sean Couturier?
Yeah.
Change your name, Sean. Is expected to be sidelined for 3 to 4 months after having back surgery. Ooh, revision. Okay, back surgery revision. So he is now on IR. So, but this is then saying early March. So that must have been updated.
Yeah.
Last week that he might be coming back this soon. So
I think so.
Because I know he's been on the list for a while.
Yeah.
Travis Konecny? Sure. Is on IR with an upper body injury. Remains to be seen when he will return. And James Van Riemsdyk?
Like, you were almost there.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We have Trevor, so I know how to say the name.
Oh, okay.
We have his brother, Trevor Van Riemsdyk, who I would argue is the better Van Riemsdyk.
You know, I'm pretty sure the stats would disagree, but hey, you know.
I'm pretty sure they would, but I think Trevor's prettier. So,
all right, okay, that's fair.
Counts for something,
That's
right?
fair. That's fair.
Right?
Also fair.
That's what I said.
That's funny. But yeah, he missed the previous game with an unknown ailment. Unclear if he will be back tomorrow against the Rangers, which
good.
Again, this is as of time of recording, so that's Wednesday, March 1st. Pittsburgh, that's not what I wanted to do.
Did you accidentally close out of it?
No, I accidentally clicked on Pittsburgh.
Oh.
That's not what I want. Like, that's not. Don't you just connect to my brain?
Right.
Ryan Poling is updated. He still has no timetable for his recovery and return with that upper body issue. Then for San Jose, we have Kevin LeBlanc.
Yeah.
I think I did that last week too, which I want to call him LeBlanc.
Yeah.
But he missed last game because his kid got born.
Congrats.
No big deal.
That's exciting.
Yeah, that's very exciting. Kevin. Congratulations. Hopefully everything went very well. May or may not be back Thursday when San Jose plays the Blues. But, you have a new baby at home. Take care of your baby. Take care of your wife or girlfriend, whatever, your partner.
Your
and enjoy some
spouse.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seattle also has nobody new listed. St. Louis, it's just Jake Neighbors, who again, because we recorded a day early, I don't remember if we talked about, but he is out on IR with an upper body injury.
Jake from State Farm?
Listed as out indefinitely. Tampa Bay also has nobody new. We're still just have Brent Seabrook for them, who is out for the season with that hip injury and shoulder surgeries. For Toronto, we have Victor Met, who was added to long-term IR with that lower body injury. Not expected to return until the beginning of March, but still that's an update on what we have. Matt Murray may be back as soon as beginning of March.
You think he's going to be on good behavior?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Just checking.
But hasn't it been nice to not have the scandals of goalie
Well, I mean,
and shit?
It gives us something to talk about,
It does.
And when we have something to talk about, I mean, it's always good to talk about scandals a little bit. Spicy stuff in the NHL.
It's also I just want to talk about hockey. I don't want to talk about somebody.
We had a really long run of some really fucked up scandals.
3 weeks worth, 3 or 4 weeks of just bummers.
Yeah, just big old bummers.
Very much so. Very much so.
Yeah.
And then Jake Muzzin for them also was moved to long-term IR with cervical spine injury. Is going to be out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, he is.
Which, yeah, you don't fuck with neck injuries, man.
No.
So,
No, dude.
hopefully everything can heal well there for him.
Yeah.
Going on to Vancouver, we have Ethan Bear, who is designated for IR with upper body ailment. Will miss an extended period. It just says out indefinitely for him. Oliver Ekman Larson was placed on IR with an ankle sprain. He is also listed as out indefinitely. Curtis Lazar is on IR with a lower body injury, also listed as out indefinitely.
Okay.
JT Miller. Oh, sorry, were you going to say something else?
No, I just said okay.
Okay. I
Sorry.
just heard your voice and didn't want to talk over you. I'm trying to get better about it, I promise y'all. JT Miller sat out the previous game with a lower body injury, uncertain whether or not he will play against the Wild on Thursday. Guess what? Please don't.
Please don't.
Just don't.
Just don't.
Do us a favor and not.
Just please don't play. Actually, I don't fucking care anymore. For Vegas, this is a very interesting name. Laurent Brosiat? I don't know if he's
I
just
think it
got
would
brought up or what.
be
Brosseau?
Brossois.
Laurent Brosseau?
Brosseau?
It wouldn't be.
Brosseau, maybe?
Oh,
Brossois?
Brossois. I think.
Laurent Brossois?
I mean, if I'm assuming
Oh,
he
he's
is
played for-
Canadian of some variety.
French Canadian, likely.
Yeah.
British Columbia. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
from
Brossois.
Albany, British Columbia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard his name,
Nope. Never, not once.
but he's played for
But I mean,
a
shout
number
out.
of years in the NHL. Yeah, I mean, which is great. That just shows that he was healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
But
didn't
he
play
is
that
now
much.
on IR with a lower body injury, listed as out indefinitely.
Yeah.
That is their third goalie too, by the way.
That is
Dude,
has
I
ended up
know.
hurt.
Fucking Vegas is going through it.
Vegas has gone through it.
Logan Thompson can come back, though, that'd be great.
He's.
because of your
And
fantasy
they're
team.
all out
Fantasy
indefinitely,
team,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just the fantasy
Except
team.
for Lerner, who's out for the
Yeah, Leonard's done
season,
for the
but
year.
The rest of them, yeah.
Forever.
Leonard's
Yeah.
got bigger fish
I
to fry
don't know
right
that
now.
we'll see him come back.
Yeah, he does.
Oh,
period.
he'll come back, but he's got bigger fish to fry right now.
He's 31.
He
He's
does.
6'4". God, he's
No, Robin Leonard? But he's
Yeah.
been healthy for most of his career, so I mean that's definitely.
Oh
gonna
yeah,
help,
yeah. He's just been out all season.
Yeah, he's just got
effectively.
bankruptcy shit to deal with right
Oh,
now.
he broke.
Yeah, he broke.
Oh, that's right. He has going through all
He
of that
had the
shit, too.
exotic snake farm or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's
See,
right.
that's what it was. I was trying to remember when I was with my cousin, who it was, and I said Mitch Marner, and I knew it wasn't right, but Leonard Marner, I get the
Yeah.
had the
What your
NER
brain
at the
did,
end, so
yeah.
my brain connected the two. Then we have Nicholas Waugh or Roy. I always
I think
imagine
it's
this as
Waugh.
being Patrick Ross'
I
son.
believe it's Waugh.
Yeah.
And I believe it is. But he missed the last 3 games with a lower body injury. He may or may not be in the lineup for tomorrow, Wednesday's game against the Hurricanes. Mark Stone was on long-term IR after undergoing back surgery. Timetable has not been established as of yet. And then still Logan Thompson, who is on IR with a leg injury, not confirmed when he will return either. And that one was updated the 23rd. And then for the Caps, we have John Carlson, who's on long-term IR due to that facial injury, will not return to the lineup until at least early March.
Yeah, he is. I guess the update there is that he is skating with the team again and with the personal trainer. So he's been out on the ice. He's been getting practice time. So he's closer to his return.
Good. And then Yevgeny,
Yevgeny Kuznetsov.
Is nursing an illness. Remains to be seen if he'll play when they face the Ducks on Wednesday. And then Anthony Mantha is on IR with an upper body injury. Currently no timetable for his return.
Honestly, also, Mantha is a name that I might expect to see traded before deadline, too.
Yeah, there's
even
a
though he's
possibility.
on. Yeah.
Yeah, that would.
He's a
on IR,
valuable
so he's
asset,
traded.
though. So
Yeah, he is, but
I just don't think he
also
fit
would
in
be
the
a valuable
system.
asset anywhere else.
Yeah.
And then lastly for Winnipeg, we have Mason Appleton, who is questionable for Friday's game against the Oilers. He has been out or stayed out from the last game with an upper body injury. We have Pierre-Luc Dubois, who is also
Great name.
questionable for
It is a
Friday's
great
game.
name.
It is such a great name.
Such a fucking good name, dude. A+ to your parents.
Right? He also missed the last contest with a lower body injury. And then Cole Perfetti.
Yeah, Perfetti.
Perfetti. There we go. Is on IR with an upper body injury, projected to miss at least 8 weeks of action. So that puts him out at late April.
Yeah.
That is what we have for our injuries and our
You know
naughty
what?
boys.
You kicked that
with our-
injuries list ass, Danger.
You
with how many
did.
people
Thank
are on
you.
it.
There were a
You
lot
did
of
very well.
yeah.
Appreciate it.
There's a lot of
There's a
shit
lot of
on
names
there.
up there.
There's a lot on there, but yeah, I think we made it through, guys. Thanks for sticking with me.
Well, you know what? In keeping with the theme of having 2 questions of the week, this week we had 2 obscure players of the week. Danger already told us about Tiny.
Tiny
Chris, why
Thompson.
don't you tell us who our other NHL obscure player of the week is?
So, our other obscure NHL player of the week is a gentleman by the name of Eric Bertrand. He is currently 47 years old. He was drafted 207th overall in 1994 to the New Jersey Devils. Fun fact about him, he didn't play with the Devils until 1999-2000 season, where, and can anyone guess what the Devils did that year?
Took a shit.
Won a Stanley Cup.
They won a Stanley
Oh,
Cup.
that
They
makes more
also
sense.
probably took a shit at some point.
At some point they had to,
point
right?
I
they
would
did.
hope so. At
You had
least.
I would fucking hope so.
Everybody poops.
Everybody
as read
poops.
by Morgan
Everybody does
Freeman.
indeed.
Everybody poops.
He also split time with a different team that same year in the NHL, where he played 8 games for the Atlanta Thrashers.
Oh,
he spent
the team that no longer exists.
exactly.
Yeah.
He also played 3 games with the Montreal Canadiens before rounding out, playing out the rest of his career overseas. He spent a lot of time in the AHL. He has nothing to report in his 15 career games except for 4 penalty minutes.
Wow.
He
Okay,
played.
so he just did a couple of maybe he had a delay of game or one of the
Yeah,
lighter
A
penalties. He
trip.
didn't do anything
Yeah,
bad.
something.
Yeah.
It was probably like, those incidental tripping calls or something,
Yeah.
like where it's like it shouldn't even be a penalty.
But you're like, God, maybe he was like the one that had to serve for too many men on the ice kind of a situation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I
That
thought
could very
creating
well
a
be
whole
it.
backstory instead of just looking up what he actually got penalized for.
I like it.
But I like
like
this
it.
better. Eric, let us know if that's what
I'm
you
here
got.
for
It also
in
says
the
he's
who's
still
not for.
technically playing.
Really?
whom?
Yes, he is currently playing for St. George Cool FM 103.5, which is a Canadian professional hockey team based in St. George, Quebec.
Are you sure that's not a radio
team
station?
Is part.
Yeah,
well, it's
I was
team,
gonna say it.
Team is part of the Ligue Nord American de Hockey, which I used to speak French at some point in my life, and I don't anymore. But it's just a Canadian, or it's a low-level hockey league in Canada.
It must be sponsored by a radio station.
Oh,
'cause
it
that
has
was
to
not
It
the
has to
name
be. If it's
of-
100 point something FM.
Yeah,
Like,
Cool
the team is
100.5.
owned by the radio station.
Okay.
Hmm.
Also, let me give you a piece of advice, radio station. I know you think that's really good advertising. It sucks because
Fucking
what do you call your
terrible.
fans? The Coolios? No, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Hire me. I'll rebrand you. You'll be much more successful.
He's played for them a good amount, so I mean, he still says he's playing. So shout out to Eric Bertrand, who had a bit of a cup of coffee in the NHL.
Eric.
And at 47, still playing some sort of professional hockey. So shout out to him.
Which is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
And he's one of the few players that we have on this that we've talked about that has been drafted.
Right.
Not
which
all
is
of
fair.
them have been drafted.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
but that is your obscure NHL player of the week.
Well, thank you. That was very interesting.
You're welcome.
That was interesting.
I think that this was really fun, you guys, to talk about all the
Great.
trades
Awesome.
because there were so many of them. Why don't we do
There
it again
were,
next
and
week?
there will be, I'm sure, a
when-
lot to talk about next week too.
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, when we're finalizing all of our different trades on the 3rd, which is also conveniently the day this podcast drops. So if you are in the comments of this podcast, do me a favor. Give us a question of the week, y'all. We came up with these last two all by our lonesome, and let me tell you, not as fun as when you give them to us.
Mm.
So let us
Yeah.
know what you want us to answer next week, and we'll do our best, or we'll tell you to go fuck yourself. One of the two.
Definitely one of the
It's a
other.
choose your own adventure.
Yeah, it literally.
Also, it's been a while. Fuck the Penguins.
Oh,
That's all.
fuck the Penguins. You know what? That's right. I haven't said that in a long while. And I was praising the Penguins in Discord earlier, so I
Which
should
felt really
absolutely
weird.
say
Yeah, it did
Didn't it?
feel very,
Felt
very
weird.
strange.
it felt strange.
Very strange.
It's like when
Felt
I
very
compliment the
strange.
Kings, it freaks me out.
Yeah, I don't like
Right?
it.
I don't like it either.
So, yeah, fuck the Penguins.
Fuck the Penguins. Sorry, I just had to work that
Anyway.
Being
No,
the only
I'm
one
glad
here
you
that won't
did.
say that.
Yeah,
It's just
that's
been
I
too
don't
long.
hate the Penguins. I actually kind of like the Penguins.
I mean,
Fuck the
I
Penguins.
like Evgeny Malkin.
Gino.
Does that count for anything?
Sure.
Okay.
You know, Matt and I like have this conversation too because like I have a Packers jersey. I'm a Vikings fan, but I have a Packers jersey because it's a Clay Matthews jersey. And Clay Matthews is a
Mm.
beast. If you want to fight me on it, okay?
Audio.
I mean, he is kind of sexy.
Fucking loved Clay Matthews.
Yeah.
But so Matt and I have the conversation all the time about how you can like a player and not an entire team. And like that's okay to do.
Agreed.
Because he's like,
Yeah.
nope, you can't do it. You can't do it. Actually, that's what got him to kind of be more okay with Seattle was once he started watching the All-Star game with I forget who they had that played for them. But watching him, I was like,
Burakovsky?
see, like it's okay to like him. I don't remember who it was. but
Matty
there-
Beniers was the only player that was supposed to
Yeah.
go to the All-Star game for
yeah,
Seattle. But
so maybe
none of them
that's what
did.
it was.
Oh, maybe it was.
But Matty Beniers is a blast to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's really fun.
Absolutely.
Then who was it that he really liked?
And Burakovsky's a great player to like too.
Yeah, he is.
Jared
Yeah,
McCann
love
is really good
McCann.
on that team.
But they have great players. Like, I
They
mean,
do.
Yeah,
that's
and they're
part
just
of
a
why I
young
hate them
organization.
So much, though. Like,
She's talking about, I don't think she's talking about Seattle because she does not hate Seattle.
No.
no, I don't hate Seattle. I was talking about the
Penguins.
Penguins again. I was
Oh.
just finishing my thought before. It's
Yeah.
fine. My ADHD is catching up with me. It's almost 11 o'clock
so-
here. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with that, we probably should call it quits. Thank
Yeah.
you guys so much for joining us. If you have not, be sure to follow us on whatever podcasting platform you're listening to us on, or all of them. If you want to go through all of them, do it. Fucking by all means.
For real.
Let us know your
Yeah.
thoughts down in the comments below. And other than that, we will see you motherfuckers in the face-off circle next week.